The Swedish LARPers, which is much more, drops.
Hear me out.
And they don't do that.
Hear me out, okay? Here's the problem, and I know you've tried to start up a number of games involving a very light rule set. And I've done, of course, the polar opposite. I'm running basically straight out of the book. And here's your biggest stumbling block. And I don't know whether it's intentional or not, but you come across on the internet like you refuse to even acknowledge any of these other LARPs exist. That your way is the right way and everybody should be playing your way. As opposed to involving a good discourse, you yourself are actually coming across as the exact reason why people are being driven away from LARPing. As opposed to building a community, which is what everybody here is trying to do. You need to build that community, get people to buy into the way you want to play your game, right? And build off of that, as opposed to trying to jam it down other people's throats.
This is so interesting because all I'm saying is we can do it in more than just one way.
Absolutely.
I'm not competing with the other LARPs. I'm not saying, stop playing the game this style.
I know you're not.
Let's play a LARP that's not the game.
I know you're not, but the way you're coming across on the internet, not for talking to you in person, that's not the case. It's the way you're presenting yourself online, and online networking is so important these days.
I've definitely seen that from the people I've talked to that must have been a problem in the area because a lot of people have been snobbed.
There's a lot of hard stuff going on.
Well, no, the discussion, the little stat that we had, my first reaction to that was, I just got snobbed at. And this was incredibly funny to me, specifically because
You're a large
I'm a Like, it was like, this is the discussion I had with Trent like 3 years ago, almost.
If we're going to go there with analysis of personal behavior, from my perspective, I come to this community from somewhere else.
Wild.
I'm treated like I have no clue about LARP whatsoever, like I'm an alien from Mars, and I've never done any LARPing. And when I get patronized, I kind of, I've done several LARPs. I know what I'm talking about. Can somebody freaking listen to what I'm saying?
The thing is, you are an alien to us.
I know.
You're from Sweden.
You're talking about LARPs, we don't play it.
That didn't work. So that's probably why.
Well, that's one of the reasons
That's
one of the reasons we got together and wanted to do this, is to have, because where we're coming from, we're coming from the reenactment end, trying to bring more LARP into the reenactment stuff we like, and so the only people we contacted to meet LARPers were Boffer LARPs and combat LARPs, right? Not realizing that there's most of the LARPing in the history of Edmonton are like what are called by Boffer LARPers. Like Boffer's kind of disparaging way of talking about combat LARPs. You call them Boffer LARPers. They call vampire type stuff parlor LARPing.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're sitting around, having tea or something.
I've run LARPs that are literally like one room with the lights off and the stage is taped down on the floor as boxes and you play wholly in your head.
Right, yeah. So when we tried to build a community of all these different things, we didn't
Actually, the
even...
latest rave in Sweden right now.
They weren't even on
I
there.
ran that way like for 2 years, about 5 years ago, and ran a whole series of games that way.
Yeah, Britannia and
I find that your game's awkward.
Some people, there were people who were like, this is awesome, and
Should
people
we
were
move
like,
on to the next presentation?
Well, we hit a hot button topic, that's why
Well, this was kind of, this what we're doing right here is kind of the point, because all of these different, people coming from the sort of, parlor LARP, Boffer LARP, reenactment, all talking different language about,
but I mean, what I've done is actually parlor LARP. You could fit all of the players into a parlor of 20 odd people. You're doing these really weird, some of it experimental, intense stuff. He's doing theater LARPs, which are often like 30 to 50 to 80 people vampiring it up.
We haven't even mentioned the LARPs that are pretty much like 99% just hitting each other with swords. Like those are still LARPs. And there's quite a few of them in Edmonton.
Edmonton here is like that. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
And they're like, why don't we have role playing in our game? I'm like, well, how do you have role playing when the people out there, all they want to do is just hit each other with sticks?
You have a sword in your hand, every problem looks like...
Kill it.
But actually, I have been to Boffer games that had an enormous amount of roleplay that came out of it. The one playtest I went to, the game system involved foam, closed cell foam weapons coated in chalk dust, so you could tell when you got hit. And the encounters that I saw at this game were just absolutely dominated by people going, do I really want to get into this fight? Maybe we can talk this guy down because I won't be able to wipe off the chalk, you know, and it's like, I gotta, and so there was an awful lot of posturing before the fighting, and sometimes there were a lot of fights that just never happened because people were afraid of it.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is actually the way that you kind of want combat
Yeah.
to play out.
How do you get more RP in the combat?
Yeah.
That's the area, that's the
Whereas-
hurdle we're trying to make.
Whereas with paintball, I paid for these damn paintball pellets.
I'm gonna shoot them.
I gotta use them. So, you know, there's a trade-off.
I think some of the boffer LARPs too, like there's not a setting really. It's just people in medieval garb with foam swords hitting each other.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with one of them who were like,
Not the successful ones. The successful ones always have.
Well, it depends on
You're right.
success
But that
for
sounds
who.
like SCA, but
Yeah.
that's not a LARP.
Yeah.
But that,
Or Amcard is
fits.
for 19-year-old boys generally. It is very successful for that demographic.
Yeah.
We're gonna meet on the field, dress up, hit each other, and then go home.
yeah.
Right? That's what they want, and it's successful if that's what you
I don't
want.
think that's ever succeeded in here, though.
And there's,
Yeah.
I've seen it in Toronto where there's actually what's called the cardboard wars, where they dress up in cardboard armor and figurines and weapons, and they beat the living hell. All you see after they walk off the belt is cardboard strewn over.
or beer can armor.
Yeah.
I will say that one of the things that was really, I found intriguing about the way DreamQuest and then later Sunfall used dice for combat was that, yeah, there was a lot of combat because people are there, they're warriors, they wanted to get in the fights. But because it wasn't the focus of the game, because rolling dice is nowhere near as much fun as whacking on somebody with a boffer, it actually gave a real incentive for people to try other approaches, to try and immerse themselves more in negotiation, maybe maneuvering around, or all sorts of other kinds of problem solving. It was just one of many ways of solving the problem, rather than, this is what we're here for, guys, whack!
And with that, I would like to